and do not reflect those of the Evening Rush Network. Viewers' discretion is advised.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay.
Welcome back. Good evening. All right, hey,
Hi,
good
good
evening.
evening.
How you doing? I'm Chris.
And I'm Nina. Good evening, everyone.
Yes, good evening. Welcome to our real estate podcast. This has been a phenomenal week. We've done a lot. What did you do this week, Nina?
Oh, wow. Okay. We had some technical difficulties, but no, we are good. We did a lot. We had quite a week.
Yes, it was an
Summertime.
office.
Summer is busy. Everyone's
Rooftop
all over the
office
place.
meetings. And what was that? I missed it, but what was going on?
Rooftop. Well, we go and we don't just work. I mean, we work a lot. We really do. Like some of us who know us well will call us workaholics. But we do what we love, everywhere. And we don't forget to have fun. So we are definitely partying while we're working, not too
Yes.
much. And therefore, whenever we have meetings, we choose to have them in fun places. So, yeah.
Well, before you get to the fun place, what was your week like?
So it's busy. Overall, summertime is a very busy time for realtors overall. So a bunch of meetings, but bigger closings that we have done recently just kept us busy.
Well, how many open houses did you have this weekend?
Well,
Is it 30?
just me or everyone
The
together?
whole office.
Okay, so everyone, the whole together, about a little less than 30. Yeah, a little less than 30 open houses. It's been very busy nowadays. It's just a period of no holiday, so everyone is back. Those who are waiting and looking for homes are out there searching.
And
So,
houses are flying, like going into contract
yeah.
really quickly. It's incredible. It's not that many houses for sale. As soon as they're listed, there just seems to be the right offers being made. So if you're out there and you're thinking of selling, now is the right time. When you say that, Nina?
Yeah, so everyone is asking me, I'm sure they ask you too, oh, how's the market now? What is it going to be like now that the rates are going up? Nothing is changing as far as those who are in need of moving. So we do know that whenever rates are going down, we could simply refinance and bring them back down. So if you really calculate it and you ask your banker what the difference would be if you were to go for a lower rate or a higher rate, then you would realize that difference is not huge. And then whenever we can refinance, not only your rate will go down, but your equity goes up.
Yeah.
So you pay up over a period of time, but then you have equity on your home. So it's not all about the rates and the closing costs, because it does come back to you.
Well, my week was great. Over the weekend, I went to the Nautical Mile. I love it out there. I was hanging out on the water. It was so beautiful. The music was blasting. There's a couple I haven't been there.
Like a beach party, you said?
No, like just this clubs on the water. Nautical Mile over in Freeport.
Okay.
Yeah, it was-
I'm always looking for,
Yeah.
beachfront
Oh, I gotta
parties.
bring you. Yeah, I gotta bring you out there. Yeah, it's
Yeah, we
what?
love it. Like
Yeah.
Mexico vibe on the water.
Yes,
You listen to music.
yes. We had some tacos. Oh man, tacos were delicious. Oh, they got an ice cream store out there. We had some ice cream. We hung out and lounged outside. It was so beautiful. The weather was perfect, and you're right on the water.
Yeah.
And they have a couple of spots where they bring the beach to the, some spots with like a little beach section, and you could sit and relax and enjoy your drink. But there's this new spot. I don't remember the name, but it's like a big building where you could have like private parties. So I was just thinking,
Like rooftops?
No, not a rooftop, but like let's say for Christmas or a holiday party or a holiday event on the water, they have a hall that looks like I would like to bring you out there so we can do some things out there.
I would love to actually.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just overall outdoor businesses are. I feel like they're more popular nowadays after COVID.
Yeah.
Everyone we're staying in, so everyone is looking for places to go,
Yeah.
and a lot. I feel it also by we don't do so many rentals, but when we do, and we have commercial rentals, we feel them flying
Yeah.
out the door. So it's a really big plus. Thankfully, at least we get, that upside after COVID where outdoor businesses are doing well. Support small businesses, you guys. That's
Yeah.
a very important thing. But yeah, it's very busy and fun, and good for
Yeah.
you for enjoying that, outdoor.
I know I missed the rooftop, but yeah, I catch the next one.
Every Monday, I do have a list of really nice rooftops where, we meet there every Monday for our meetings, and and excuse the noise, we're having a closing downstairs, so hopefully,
Yeah,
guys.
business doesn't stop, guys. It never stops. So they're negotiating and going through terms and
Finishing
working
up.
a deal as we are here talking
The second
to
one
you.
of the day, by the
yes, exactly. Like I said, it's
Thank
a
God,
very
thank God.
busy season.
Yes.
Very, very busy. So, what did you do for fun though? I feel like we
I
got
mean,
into
that's
work
fun.
really right away.
I enjoy it. I really do. I love being, first off,
Mm-hmm.
I love people. I love together. I
Yeah.
like to do things together, personal, business. I love when people get together, share, work, and, help each other. It's always a big plus. I mean, it's not fun to be alone. So,
Yeah.
number one, I love people. And then, secondly, I like when you get together and you plan an event or
Gotcha.
simply a meeting. That's when you catch up and you mix. I don't say mix business and pleasure. I don't 100% disagree with that, but I do believe that there's always a way to have fun. So answering your question, yes, I love it. I do that for fun.
So do you like a planned event where you're working months in advance, or do you like do you like being spontaneous more? Where you wake up and next thing you know, you're in Florida for the night and you did not plan to go to Florida.
Spontaneous is my middle name.
Mm.
However, not to fly to places necessarily because I am a mother of four.
No.
Yeah,
kids,
I can't just pick up and
no,
go.
No. I'm speaking. Let's just say the kids are all adults and you don't have anything to worry about.
For
in
sure.
an ideal world
Yeah.
where you can do what you want to do.
Not even flying. Huge yacht waiting for me somewhere. And
So you'd rather be on
for
the water.
I am. However, I have to have full reception, internet everywhere I go. Hello, we need to follow up. We have some responsibility,
No. I'm just saying ideally, you don't have to work, you don't have to, and you wake up and do what you want to do.
Okay, I see that you're really trying hard. Fine.
Yeah, I'm just saying
so
ideally.
What I do for fun, what I at least used to do for fun not too long ago, and it's funny that I am saying this right now because not a lot of people know this about me. Okay. I actually dance for fun. We have
you dance?
Broadway Dance Center up
You
there
did?
in the city that I haven't been in a while, but that's really my fun spot.
Wow, I have to Yeah, you got video?
No, and I'm not going to share them. And you're not going to find it anywhere either. So, super discreet.
Yeah, that's in a vault somewhere because if I find it, it's going to be blasted all over the internet.
Yeah, no. So, no internet for that. We are definitely not sharing that. So, that's what I do for fun. But I really do like to work. I really do. You know what I like? I like the accomplishment.
Got you.
I love the seller or the buyer who are very... what's the word? Either misguided, unmotivated from just being exhausted of looking for what it is that they want.
Yeah.
So that feeling of you doing it for them and then it's finally over, whether they found their dream place or they finally sold their problematic house. So it's the fact that you've done it for me, that's pleasure. It's not all about the money. It's really about the
experience. It's the experience.
Yeah, because it's work that they come to you to do. And then if you're the one who they chose to fix their problem and you did it, what's better than that? Not everything is as easy as it sounds. Like I said last
No,
time, and we
it's a
were
lot.
speaking.
Yes, it's a lot of
Sometimes it
work.
takes you years to work on just this one file, and sometimes, a $10 million deal just happens to be so much easier. It really depends on the type of file that you have. So don't judge real estate altogether by
And it's a
the
lot of
title.
work because you're dealing with a lot of different people.
Yes, you do.
And sometimes it may just seem like it's a buyer and it's a seller. Oh no, it's attorneys, it's title,
Yeah,
it could be family, it could be so much more than just the buyer and the seller.
correct.
And everyone, we have to pay attention and nurture everyone on the deal because we all come together in like one big pot,
Yeah,
and then you got a deal, and then you have a closing. So
yeah.
it's a lot into real estate. It's not just as simply as like, oh, you got the buyer or you got no. It just, you continue to negotiate, you continue to go over different situations that arise during the process.
Yeah, and help each other. Teamwork makes the
The
dream
dream
work.
work. And on top of that, sometimes people don't necessarily, they're not upfront with you.
Yeah,
I give you this situation.
so annoying. Me too. I have
I
that.
had a mansion, a house, about 10 years ago. I used to be a personal trainer in the gym, and my mentor, he gave me a referral for a friend of his that mother owned a mansion. So I go on the listing appointment. When I get there, she makes a phone call and calls somebody from North Carolina and told me that if in order for me to get this deal, I had to pay him. And I was like, who are you? I don't know. I don't know who you are.
Well, it's true. Like, it's not supposed to be that way. However, people do expect to get something in return whenever they introduce you to something or someone.
No, I didn't know. I didn't. I dealt with her son. I dealt with my mentor, and I did not know about this guy, and I still don't know who he was. And ultimately, it was challenging
Is he
because
connected to the seller?
he's connected to the mother, but the mother and son were not on the same page. And so when I got there,
Oh,
I got hit with that, and then she didn't want to sell. It was like a 5,000 square foot home,
oh man.
and she lived in it alone, and she just was not ready to leave. So
That's conflict of interest. Sounds like on the side of the son.
right, he didn't disclose this information. He chopped it up to me like, okay, my mom is ready to go, but when
Yeah.
I got there, she was not ready to go. And it was a beautiful home. They had like a fountain, and like you walk in, and it's like the front is like glass, and you
That's
walk
very
in, and
unfortunate.
they had a nice fountain. It was a beautiful home, but it was dated. That's
Someone
about
just
it.
wrote something. So when you have that issue where what is it?
Where the two people
It's
don't
very
want to,
small.
two people don't want to leave, what do you do?
Okay, so if they live together, they both have rights to the home,
Yeah.
regardless whether they're on the deed together, on the mortgage together, or as long if they are partners in the home or roommates who've been there for a specific amount of time, they both have rights to the house.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Story of our
Well,
lives, right?
well, in this situation, the mother, it was primary. She's the primary person for the home. Her son was secondary. So
Yeah, still he has equal rights.
yeah, but if she wasn't cooperative, there wasn't
This way.
anything that could have been done. And so I kept in touch. She's still there. It just was a situation that he wanted to sell and she didn't.
I had similar situation, but then we found out that the son was hoping to get the mom's money after the sale. I knew that. Okay, I knew
Yeah.
that, but I said, you know what? If she has a good legal team, they're going to ensure that they need her permission. She is 100% fresh. She knows what she's doing. Yes, she's older, but I left it up to the legal team that I introduced her to. And of course, he expected, but he could expect all he wants. And whatever happened, happened. It went to her bank account without his instructions. and that was it. Eventually, she got the money. Afterwards, what happened, that's between them. But a lot of people have conflict of interest, and that's something that is very unfortunately, it's out there a lot. And it's just up to us as realtors to ensure what's right and what's wrong. We really have to, put it together.
Well, listen, the people in the home, if your name, if you own the home and you don't live in the home, the people in the home, if they are renters or they have rights. You can't in New York, you can't you have to evict them, but they can't sell the home. They can't. It's whoever's name is on the deed and on the mortgage, that's their home. Now, if you have a person that name is on the deed and another person's on the mortgage, at closing they still split. They're equal. Am I correct?
Yes, they both need to be there. You have to have the consent of both. So as soon as you have the consent of both, they're good. But then if in addition to them, there are people in the home, whether or not, even people who broke into the house and have been there for a specific amount of time, they still have the rights to the property.
Yes.
Even there's a squatter rights situation.
Yes.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah. Did I tell you the story?
No. Why don't you
Yeah, I
tell
was
us?
managing properties in Bushwick, Brooklyn. And so what I would do, I would drive by 2 or 3 times a day to make sure that these properties, they were all being renovated.
Mm-hmm.
So none of them had refrigerators, kitchen, water, but they had lights. And one day I'm driving by and a lockbox was broke. I said, whoa, lockbox is broke. Who did that? So I go and I open the door with the keys. I had the keys to the place, and people were living in it with no water, no refrigerator, no stove, and told me that a realtor, they signed a lease. I said, oh, really? Okay. So I called the cops. Then I called the people I work for. They came with the deed. And because they did not receive any mail, and I caught them as soon as they moved in, they had to leave right away. So they took their blankets and left.
Them got lucky.
Right, because you have to get on that right away in New York. Because once they get mail and establish themselves, you're in for like a 2 or 3 year
They move
ride.
in with fake mail. I'm not trying to give anyone any advices, but squatters, professional squatters, unfortunately, know what they're doing.
Yep.
And they do that. They do that a lot. And you know what? It's not that I'm not going to say I don't blame them, but then did you ever visit a shelter building?
No.
It's really so sad. I happen to have seen 2 shelter buildings where people go there when they get evicted or where they have nowhere to go. They don't even have sunlight. They have no windows. And dude, when I tell you people live there with small children, babies, people are giving birth and go right back to shelter.
Wow.
And the saddest story I've ever seen. I took up a family that I met about a month ago, and I helped them to obtain vouchers. We got them vouchers, and then they went to look for a place. I don't know what's up with them now, but at least I helped them obtain vouchers. But when I saw these babies in the shelter, I can't even explain to you. That was something that I'll never forget. It's something unfortunate, and I feel like the city is doing a great job in looking for buildings to form additional shelter homes or low-income housing buildings. On Atlantic the other day, I saw a low-income housing building that people took even advantage of. Those who win those houses are actually renting it to Airbnb.
Wow.
All of a sudden, I see, tourists coming out of the building, and I'm like, hi, what type of building is that? And I know what type of building that was. Say, Airbnb. I was just in shock. Like, it's let alone them not being able to find houses, but then when they do, they just make money off of it. I'm all for making money, but there are limits. There are really limits. Those who are in need have no sunlight. you know.
Yeah,
So
it's also very challenging because it's very expensive in the city. So it's super challenging seeing both sides. But I'm gonna tell you what not to do. I had a house in Brooklyn. It was in a commercial area, so I had challenges finding tenants. So what I did was I found a program where when people get out of prison, they needed to rent rooms, and so they paid for the rooms for these people to rent. However, after 6 months, they don't pay for the funding from them stops, and the people renting the rooms need to pay, and they stopped paying. And I was 20 something years old, and they stopped paying, and so the money
that was yesterday.
wasn't.
Sorry.
Yeah, I wish, right?
You did that to me last time. Go
Touche.
ahead. Go
So they
ahead.
stopped paying. So I changed the locks,
Oh,
and I didn't give them a key. And next thing you know, I got served some papers, and I had to go to court,
oh man.
and I lost in court, and I had to give them keys. And that was a rough lesson. You cannot change locks on people and not give them a key. You cannot go into their apartment. You just can't do, once you have a tenant, you have to go through the system.
Yes.
You can't go around it, or you will go to jail. I didn't go to jail, but I wound up in court, and I had to pay a fine. So you just things that it was a valuable lesson that I learned of what not to do when folks are not paying you.
Yeah,
So that was an unfortunate lesson.
People lose homes over non-paying tenants, and it's just so sad because you can't afford the rent. Fine, don't pay rent, but then have a plan to move on. Have a plan to leave. After all, karma is karma.
Yeah.
It will come back to you. A lot of people are doing it and taking so much advantage.
Yeah.
Have you seen, I saw in Canarsie one time a banner someone ordered and wrote, my tenants are not paying. He put a banner about the people inside the building on how they're not paying. He's about to lose his house.
I saw that on the highway. Yeah, I saw that on the highway. Wow.
Very sad stories, but it is what it is. What can we do? That's the way the world is sometimes. But if you see someone or know of someone who doesn't pay rent and you have the ability to make a change, you are doing a huge deed, something good for someone else who may lose their home, and you could prevent that. That is something that you should have a voice for and should get involved. It's very, very scary situations to those who have really high mortgages, and then they depend on those who are supposed to pay them rent. And that's why people have this like stereotype on that type of people who have vouchers. Oh, I don't want to rent to people who have vouchers. That's, by the way, part of the reasons that I don't like doing rentals. People have this vision that people who have rental vouchers will not pay rent. Will not pay rent, will destroy their homes and leave, because in their minds they're coming from shelter.
Right, so, and they're going to be home all day.
Yeah, but ask me, if I had a big building that I had to occupy, I would probably have only those, not only, but I wouldn't really reject anyone who has the vouchers. Number one, it's illegal, by the landlords to do that. But people don't really know what it's about. This is money from the government that they're helping
guaranteed people. Money.
Yes, and it's not necessarily that people who have vouchers are not working people. Absolutely not. Yeah. This is for working people. They could have even 80% effect on the payment, out-of-pocket paychecks, or 100%, and still be a working person. In case he has specific amount of dependents, that's already specifics. But don't judge those who have vouchers. Just amazing people that I meet day to day. I happen to see them. I just don't work with them because I happen to, again, not do rentals, but yeah. Don't judge a book by its cover.
But also, when you have rental properties, another thing people need to realize, you have to budget for the worst. You cannot look at the income and start funding your car and buying luxury items and vacations, and then you get that one tenant that you're not getting money from, and then you don't have money for an attorney to go to
Yeah.
court and go. So you have to keep a budget and have money for different expenses on top of, like, if you got to paint or plaster or fix a roof, or if the boiler goes or any emergency, you should have a fund ready to go. Because guess what? If these tenants have no water, you're going to hear from HPD, and you're going to have,
Yeah.
it's going to be so expensive compared to just fixing the problem right away, because you
Very
can just
expensive.
take care of it. It becomes super expensive.
Yeah.
So yes, you can't just spend the surplus money and do what you want to do. You should have a budget that's specifically to like, I call it a war chest, but you're not going to war. You're just anything that happens with it's your own insurance to take care of your property.
Yeah. Some of those who may tell you, "Oh, take me to court. I'm not going to pay rent." Wise asses. Fine. Excuse my French. You're going to ruin their credit. You could do that. You can ruin their credit, ensure that they never ever be accepted by anywhere else. Okay. And let them know that they're in risk of, they're really opening themselves to that bad history on their name. Wherever they go, they will not be able to apply for anything. So reporting to a credit bureau is not
Yes.
an expensive move.
Nope.
You should do that. Yes, there are agencies who remove that from the creditors, but they normally don't have the knowledge to go and clear their credit if they could care less about theirs. What is that? What are they saying?
But instead, that illegal.
What is that? But instead, that illegal.
Oh.
I'm not sure what they meant, but okay. So overall, it's just it's
That's
legal.
that's not illegal. No.
Not illegal to report to the bureau?
Yeah, that's not illegal. No.
No, absolutely not. You prove that you have a house that they're not paying rent. You give them notice.
No.
They don't pay. It's just the same, right? It's just the same as a creditor that someone doesn't pay. It goes to collection. If you don't pay the collection, it accrues charges and then eventually turns into a judgment.
And not only that, you got references, right? So when people want another apartment or live somewhere else,
Yeah.
That's why it's always important to get references as well, because you could find out information on this tenant to make an informed decision whether you're going to rent to them or not. So when people burn this bridge, it's also something that works against them. When they go to the next and they say, "Hey, how come you don't have a history of renting anywhere?" That's a red flag.
Yeah. It's we have those programs that we run on people, realtors. If you go for to rent somewhere and then they get you a client, they're able to run the background check where it shows whether they have any criminal record, housing previous history, and their credit report.
Yeah.
So going back to renters, those who rent your property, if they are in good terms, I feel like we're only talking like the bad side of renting, but those who do well should have the choice and of course the ability to purchase your home. So if you rent to own, that's something.
Well, that's what we burying the lead. We're gonna get to that. That's
it's funny. I feel like we're only attacking the bad side.
No. We're gonna get there. We're gonna
don't get mismotivated to rent your house.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. That's the topic of the show today. Actually, we're gonna get to that shortly. But it's not. But we don't want you to get involved in real estate and not hear everything.
Yeah.
It's not all. It's not perfect. It can be perfect if you work it as such, but it is work, and you have to do your due diligence, and protection is needed on both sides. We want to protect the renter and we want to protect the homeowner so that we can make informed choices on who we choose to rent to or where we choose to rent from.
Yeah.
Because there are some landlords that you don't want to rent. It's just, know.
You can also what's good about our programs in New York City, it's public records. You could see if a landlord is not cooperative with his tenants, his or her tenants. They file complaints. They have records of any violations
Yeah.
that may have been placed on the property by those tenants. So you could look it up and see
Yes.
how the tenant, I mean, it's not only about the tenant side. Like you said, sometimes the landlord is not cooperative.
Yeah.
And you want to ensure that you're putting yourself in a good situation if you're moving with your family, to ensure that you're in a good spot.
And HPD has a lot of records on people. When you, like I said, if you don't change that water, if you don't change the boiler and there's no heat or hot water, and HPD gets involved, you will see that on the history of the building or the apartment.
Yeah.
So that's why, yes,
And we run that even before every listing we get. We run the water. I mean, you don't have to run water charges, but you see
Yeah.
more or less the standing of the building, just like you go and you purchase a condo or whatever. Your attorney wants to see the standing of the board. Same thing with the listing that we get.
We need to
ensure
check
that
the
we run-
violations and check,
So we run the water, the DP, we could check the taxes, whatever. So can you. The ECBs, the violations, Environmental Control Board, that has to do with garbage and like any type of miscellaneous type of waste that they're not removing, something broken, they're getting tickets.
And in order to sell that building, they have to clear these fines and these violations. So there is a positive and negative for both parties when it comes to real estate. It's not all one-sided.
You need to hear the good and bad for sure.
Yeah,
Yes, you do.
yeah.
Yes.
All right, so listen, we're gonna go on a short break and we'll be back and we'll get to our topic of the day shortly. Bye.
Looking to podcast shows and do not know where to start? The Evening Rush Network can help you with that. Call us at 929-441-2417 or email us at theeveningrushnetwork@gmail.com for dates and prices. We got you for all your podcast needs. The Evening Rush Network. Tune in, subscribe, and share.
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
Okay.
We normally hear the
Yeah, I know.
classic. What's the deal?
With new buildings going up, but you still have lotteries to get into for rental lotteries with new buildings.
Okay,
Yes.
good question.
Yeah, well, welcome back.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yes, we're gonna get to renting with the option to buy. But before we get to that, lotteries.
Yeah.
So you have new buildings. How many people you think are in the city that live in New York? We are one of the largest cities in the world.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, they do not have housing for everyone that's affordable.
Right.
And that's why you have a lottery. And you have to have a lot of paperwork for that as well. It's probably, how long do you think? It's maybe, it takes some time to win the lottery and be approved.
Correct. Winning the lottery, like it named itself, lottery. It could happen very soon, or it could take a couple of years. If you do win the lottery and then you are being placed in a low income housing or whatever it is, you still don't really get to choose. You are being placed, and they give you this one option where you could take it, and then that's where you have to go.
And not only that, these lottery buildings, they only have, let's just say, 1 or 2 floors. So maybe 1 or 2 floors might be a total of 6 to 12 apartments. It's not the whole building. And some of these lotteries also, like, they have, like, I've been in one building where you had to go in a special entrance, to go to that apartment where the affordable housing is. So, and they're building more, but there's a lot of people in New York, so it's very competitive.
Yeah. They give the options to existing landlords. I even get phone calls. Do you ever get phone calls from the city of New York if you know of any landlords who are looking for tenants? Again, working people, not working people. They're just looking for anyone to come and cooperate and give the option for a renter to come and rent it out. So not only they're looking for apartments, they're actually looking to purchase a full building. So answering your question, Mr.
Brooklyn of the Round
Yeah.
Table.
Yeah. So yeah, buildings are everywhere. They're going up. But why are they suddenly going up? They couldn't have gone up without the city changing the zoning.
Yes.
Right? So back in the day, an existing building may have an R2, R3, R4, R5 that all of a sudden went to R6, R7, R7A, B, whatever. It changes. It changes because it's overpopulating.
Yes.
New York is overpopulating, and therefore they need more space. So they change the zone, and therefore you can be building up and able to obtain more occupancy. So that's really, sorry, go ahead.
No, and then not only that, but the government is funding these builders, and that's why they have to have a certain amount of apartments because of the funding they're receiving from the city. So this is an agreement before the building is even created.
Yeah.
And so some of the funding goes into creating these projects, developing these projects, and creating affordable housing. But it's a partnership between the builder and the developer, I should say, and the city.
Yes.
And right now I'm working on a project in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, creating a 42 unit building. So I think we just closed on the land. So we're working on creating affordable housing out in Pennsylvania. It's a little more challenging here in New York City to create these projects, even though all these new buildings are going up.
Yeah. A lot of buildings are going up also, not only in Brooklyn, I mean, also in different parts of New York. They want to ensure that if they do change those zonings, they change it equally to not form, like let's say in Brooklyn. So it's like kind of moving down south as they go in Brooklyn. Same with Queens and other places. That also makes your value change. So people are aware, sellers are aware that once their zoning changes, they could ask for more because, hey, you can come up and build on top of it and make money. So they ask for more, your value goes up.
So in my world, everyone owns a home. And through COVID, I had friends that own condos, but because of COVID and going on the elevator and being in these buildings, it was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So a few of my friends did rent with the option to buy in houses in Long Island. And so did you know of anyone that did that during COVID? Like while we were in the mix, like I would say like the first summer, that's when my friends moved from a condo to a house.
Because
and
you
they rented
mean
with the
not to
option
be
to
near
buy.
other.
Yes, because they didn't want to be on the elevator. They didn't want to be in the building.
I feel like no one knew what they were doing. Everyone was afraid of everything.
Yes.
I'm not even gonna. You can't even blame anyone because that was something new to the world,
Yes.
and everyone were trying. I remember there were videos on how you touch this and then you touch that. That goes from here to there. Everyone was just simply bugging out.
And that's why my friends, they didn't feel comfortable buying a home because they weren't sure if they were going to go back to the apartment or
crazy.
So,
that's when everyone asked us as realtors, what do you think is going to happen in COVID? Who would have known
like we would know
that this demand was bugging out over inventory, and then all the inventories are just
flying right off the market. Yes.
A lot of people sold their homes for peanuts right when it started.
Yes. And if you couldn't sell your home, you were renting to people with the option to buy.
Yes, for sure.
And so that was that was very popular at that time. However, do you think that works to the favor of the owner or to the favor of the renter?
At the time of when exactly?
Of COVID. That was COVID. But I mean, in general, renting with the option to buy, who does that favor?
So renting with the option to buy could favor both sides. Why? Because for renter, I'm going to start with the seller. Once the seller rents a property to someone, right? They give him the option to purchase. But if they didn't, and then it was time for them to sell, then who's dealing with the cash for keys, with the vacancy, with the re-renovating the home? the house now been used. You need to replace those appliances and maybe even change the kitchen or upgrade your bathroom.
Yeah.
If a lot of people are living there, then the floors are being torn. And I'm not saying animals, but it is what it is. You know, when you want to sell your home, you want to get the most, fix it up, and get the
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 highest
most that you
value.
can.
Yes.
So on the seller side, sometimes it's worth it because they don't have to go through that, vacancy, selling, interrupting the tenants. Let me see, access, move. So I get that. However, it doesn't necessarily mean that if I give you the option to buy, I'm locked in with you for life.
Right. Right.
So on the renter side, it's good for them because it's comfortable. You already moved. I mean, who likes to move? Yes, people like change, but moving is a whole other thing. Yes, what they asked us.
When you rent to buy, do you still need to do a closing?
Absolutely.
Everything is, if you're not closing, you're not owning.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to ensure that you are covered. Even if you use the home, you still want to do that inspection and ensure that over time the roof didn't get torn. You want to get the roof reflashed or
Yes.
basement leaking or termites or whatever it is. You have to have the whole thing.
So, yes. Finally, the truth comes out from you. Thank you, Chris and Nina. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Finally, the truth.
So cute, you guys.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
much fun. You
Yeah.
know what it is also? I like that some people are watching now and then a lot of people will watch later. You know how we got
Yeah.
3,000, 2,000, whatever views? I still get, because, it's not so hard to reach us.
Yeah.
So I still get questions. And sometimes I wake up to a series of, list of questions. I love it. So ask anything.
Also, too, when you're dealing with in home ownership, sometimes the homeowner can also create like financing. So
Right.
you can have someone be a renter, but then create financing for them that
Yes.
leads towards home ownership.
Right.
And that's how you can go from to create affordable housing and transit. And then also, it's a different process than your normal closing.
Yes.
Because the transfer is not the same as when you got to come and you're looking at houses and you're already in it, you're already living in it, and you're already paying the mortgage. It just transfers over to the renter.
Yeah. And then being that you live there, let's say if it's a two-family, and over time you occupy one place and the other place is rented and the rent goes into the rightful owner at the existing time before you purchase it.
Yeah.
You want to, that's going to go into your pocket and that's going to help you pay off your mortgage. If you live with family, you can add them as co-borrowers. You have a lot of options and it's it's comfortable. You're already there, so you might as well purchase it.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah.
You can change your mind. If
And
you have the right to own, the right to purchase, the rent to own, and you decide not to go for that, you don't have to go for that. You're not obligated in any way or form to get it. But if you as the seller,
yes,
do not give the option to the renter to purchase it first, that's not a lovely position. And
yes,
you're going to end up being sued. I have a situation like
and
that.
And that's another thing. Everybody needs to read their contracts with an attorney. Don't just sign a contract and not read the contract, and then later on feel like you're getting screwed. Or you're getting, if you
even e-sign one.
Yes, you have to go over this with an attorney because anything can happen. I read a story where a developer, and this is what happens here too. Like, let's say you have a developer and they're running out of money. So they need to sell off the apartment as soon as possible. And that's another way where you catch a good deal. So you can get a house that's worth maybe $700,000 and they'll sell it to you for $5,000, right? Before it's finished. Yeah. So you get in early. However, some of these contracts, they can give you back your money and sell it to somebody else for $800,000. And guess what? You don't have a home. And sometimes people they get caught up in getting the deal but they don't read the fine print. Everything you do in real estate, get an attorney. It may cost money up front, but it'll save you in the long run. Because if you don't get the property, that's okay. But if you are tying money in and you don't get no interest, you may get your money back, but you're not earning any interest. You're not, and it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 2 years. And then you don't get the property because you didn't read the contract. And it says that they can give you your money back and go to a higher bidder.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what you're giving.
We have another question.
Yes. There are different attorneys. Which one is for real estate? Do you have one? Y'all know. Of course we know attorneys.
Yeah.
We could recommend.
We're not laughing at the question, by the way.
Yeah, but it's
being
just
entertained over here.
Yeah, exactly. It's just we know attorneys, but also we want you to do your due diligence and not just shop around.
Yeah, different languages.
We could recommend, yes, but always go to someone that specializes in real estate. If they're doing a bunch of things, and then, if they're doing civil litigation they may not have the time to give to you and read these contracts and understand these contracts and give you the best advice.
Those who don't do real estate specifically are, not all of them, but most of them are deal killers.
Yes.
Because not only they don't have time, but sometimes they just hold the deal up for little, I'm not going to say stupid little things, but for items that are not necessarily need so much time to think. And sometimes they just turn the mind of the client to, to an approach. It's not supposed to be there. So you really want someone that specifically handles real estate transactions. All kinds, no problem. But
and
real
understands
estate,
your best interest. And if you know up front what you're getting into, that's half the battle. If you're willing, there's nothing wrong with, hey, if they give you your money back, or if you know that up front and you agree to it, then that's good. But if you do not know and you get blindsided, it's very frustrating thinking you have a home that you're never going to have.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, attorneys can change the language to suit your interest better so that they can't do that to you, so that they can create a penalty so that not only you get your money back, but they give you an extra 100 grand or 50 grand, whatever it is for breaking the contract.
Yeah. Another question.
Can we contact you guys when we're ready to buy?
Yeah, we're here.
Yes. You could contact, my number is 516-506-3284. Also, the 5-Borough Realty number is.
Yeah, you could Google also and find this, if you need to take it down. We will actually put it in our bio. We should put it in our bio, like right by your comment, or, or simply by Instagram. You can find us in our information. Overall, it's the 855. You can also call us at this number during the time of the podcast in case you're watching live. But if you're watching later, I'm not sure where that number goes, but 855, it's easy, 855-305-DEAL.
Yeah.
Done.
Yes.
5-Borough Realty.
5-Borough Realty.
Yeah.
5-Borough Realty. 1-855.
Yeah. 805-DEAL.
805-DEAL.
Yeah. Looking to purchase is a fun time for everyone. Everyone should enjoy it. It shouldn't be an exhausting period. A lot of people are using realtors that they were really disappointed from. It shouldn't be that way. It's not the way to go. That's not what we want to do. So
the biggest key in real estate is communication.
Yeah.
For everyone, for attorneys, for realtors, whether you're buying or selling, communication, and that's the bottom line. And at the end of the day, the client, for me, it's all about the client.
Yeah.
And however I can assist you in any way possible.
Yeah.
I'm not here to hinder you at all. But sometimes it may feel that way if somebody's trying to take advantage of you, and I see that.
Some water if you want.
Yes. Yes, please.
for those who own mixed-use homes, not necessarily residential, right? Sometimes you have tenants on top, and then you have a business on the bottom.
Yeah.
There are many times where the business owners who rent downstairs live upstairs, right? And they rent both spots. That's something that is sometimes is worth for that renter to rent, or it may be more of a profitable thing to do and purchase.
Yeah.
And then if you purchase, what are you going to do? It's not really a residential spot. So we have ways to legally assess and ensure that your mortgage may be able to have a two-family mortgage on a mixed-use property.
Wow.
So it's very easy to make a mistake when you try to list the property and then you list it as a mixed use. Because then what happens? It doesn't go in the MLS as a residential all the time. Sometimes it throws you off and makes you put it in different sites that are commercial. And then a residential purchaser may miss you. So keep that in mind, that if you do have a mixed use, you don't have to necessarily go for a commercial loan.
Yeah.
It's very expensive. It's not the same, not even close to being a residential loan. So that's something that people also don't know, and you may want to look into that.
And I've seen people turn two families into four families where they have a large family, people living in the basement, people living in the attic, two apartments rented, and they had a 2-car garage, and they turned the 2-car garage into an apartment with heat, hot water, kitchen. Yeah, that was a mean house.
I mean, look, people,
that was a lot of space.
Is it legal? No,
No.
but people do that.
No, but
people
they
do that and get tickets or don't. I mean, some of the people who do that are normally putting family members, friends, someone who they know well. I have a situation that I'm selling a home. She put her friend's, her son's friend downstairs, and now it's time to sell, and he doesn't want to give access. Now go evict him from a garage.
You cannot break a wall, or you have to have permits for everything you do because you have a blueprint for your house. So when you sell your home and it doesn't match your blueprint, you create issues. And so that's why you can't just, you could break a wall in certain areas, but you can't add a bathroom or create a room that doesn't exist
if it involves
on your title.
Electric,
yes. If it involves, you can't just break.
Also, when you put down a wall, you can put down a wall in your house, but you want to ensure that you're not removing a what do you call it? A wall that is a supportive wall.
Yes, a supportive wall. Yes.
Right. So you want to ensure that you don't do it on your own. Always consult either an architect or a contractor. You can't do that. And then, you have beams running across your home. You don't want to do anything stupid.
Because when you purchase a home, these banks, they have a blueprint on your house.
Yes.
And so when you go to sell or transfer the mortgage or do something, they do an inspection. Yes. And your home has to match the inspection they already have. Also, if you create bathrooms and they're not legal, the city can fine you and you have to remove the bathroom.
Yes. Good night. Good night to everyone. Hello.
All right. Hey. So owning homes, there's things that you can do. There's things that you can't do. It's just best to refer. That's why an attorney also is important, so you can know what you can be fined for, what you are liable for. And so that's the importance of understanding the rights of your property.
Right. Those of you who may think you can convert your garage into a livable space, you will end up selling that home, and that buyer will have what we call survey. So that survey has all the measurements, the property lines, and that may be an issue. Even a garage. Some people say, the garage needs too much work. Let me just put it down. No. Worst thing you can do. Not something you do at all. So that's something you want to think twice about. I just picked up a listing that they were removing the garage. That's a problem. When we sell it, it's going to be an issue.
Because it comes with the garage.
Right. So you can do those alterations all you want. And specifically for the simple fact that you don't want to accrue the violations.
Yeah.
So
we hope that we answered all your questions with regard to home ownership and renting with the option to buy.
Yeah.
We would love to hear from you. If you have any questions that we did not answer, if there's a subject that we haven't talked about that you would like to hear. We've had a lot of experiences in real estate. Like some of the stories that we can get into, it's just when you deal with homeowners, they can be anyone. So it's just, it's always a great experience when you go house to house and deal with different people, and you're going to homes and you're dealing with large families, small families. Yeah, it's always an interesting ride. Would you say?
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting. Listen, you that's your experience. That's what you learn from, and knowledge is power. So you want to learn as much as you can. You know, the other day I was just thinking, it's really nice to continue to learn and to look into other deals that I don't know the time work on. I like to explore. I like to do, new things. But of
Yes.
course, we're always so busy. I'm always trying to like finish up what I have.
So
What is he
yes,
asking?
where are the listings with the rent with the option to buy?
That's really up to it's really a matter of where you go. So even as a simple rent listing, you could
Is the MLS?
yeah, no, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Wherever the listings are, that's where they would be. Not necessarily mentioning the fact that you may purchase it, but when you do go and meet up with that landlord and you see that the landlord doesn't live in the property, where they really just monitor it from far. So you could
Absentee
ask,
homeowners.
yeah, you could ask to add that provision in the contract, in the lease. Hey, if you ever decide to sell, will you give me first chance? Okay, first right
First
of
right of
refusal.
refusal. That's what
Right.
it's called.
So you could ask them to add it to your
Your
contract,
lease.
and then they're gonna have you as their first choice. And trust me when I tell you, if you're a good tenant, that seller will sell it to you first if you can afford it and have the ability to purchase it. So definitely any type of listing could be a tentative purchase eventually.
And you have the first right of refusal.
Yeah.
So no one else can get the apartment. I mean, the apartment, the house
Yeah.
until you decline.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just scrolling. We have a lot of comments. I don't know if I can see them all.
Okay. So yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, we have 3 minutes left. Feel free to ask any other questions. Other than that, we are always encouraging you guys to purchase. Renting is a great option where you don't know where you want to be permanently.
Yes.
Whenever I sell a home of a client, they tell me, "Oh, I have to buy something else. Do I want to do it?" Absolutely. I make, commission twice, but I always suggest to always rent in case, specifically if you're leaving the town or the city,
Like let's say you're an
you want to go.
athlete and you may be here for a few years and you may go to another team, or
Yeah.
it'll be better off that you rent so that you don't have to sell. And sometimes when you have to sell and you need it to sell fast, normally you wouldn't get market value because of the timing.
Yeah.
So you may lose money in that instance if you have to travel, or if you have a job where you're working in places for 6 months or a year, and then you go to the next town or the next state or the next city, then it's great for you to rent.
Yeah.
And then also college students and young folks that they're not quite ready to own yet. So it's good for them to rent until when they're ready or when they start their family.
Yes. So that's a great opportunity. Rent to own. That was our podcast, more or less, about today. It was really nice being with you guys.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, hope we answered all your questions. And moving forward, looking also forward to hearing from you. So enjoy the rest of the night. Looking for next week's podcast. If you have any suggestions, if you guys want us to speak about anything specific in the next show, you could just let us know. Thank you. We'll see you guys later. Thank you, Chris,
Yes.
for tonight.
God
Really
bless
nice.
and good night.
Thank you.